Let's talk about a man who came from literally nowhere to define an entire culture. He was a military genius, a true patron of the arts, and the founder of what we now call Bengal's Golden Age. This is the story of Alauddin Hussain Shah.
So, who was this guy? Honestly, the historical record is a bit of a puzzle. Was he some noble from Central Asia, an Arab trader, or, and this is my favorite, was he just a local cowboy from a small Bengali village? This mystery, this question of who he was, is right at the heart of his incredible story. All right, let's dive into his rise to power, because that's where things get really interesting. The stories about where he came from are all over the place, but they all point to one simple fact. This was not a man who was born to be a king. I mean, just look at the different tales swirling around him. Some say he was the son of a noble from Turkestan, others say he was an Arab. But the local legends, they tell a different story of a boy from a tiny village, maybe a cowboy with a Bengali mother. Even the Mughal Emperor Babur mentioned his dark complexion, which kind of hints at those deep local roots. But here's the thing. Whatever the truth is, he started with nothing, and through pure talent, he rose to become the vizier, the chief minister of Bengal. Then, in 1493, everything changes. The sultan dies, the kingdom is in chaos, and the nobles have to pick a new leader. And who do they choose? Not a prince, not a general. They chose Hussain Shah. It was just the stunning leap from chief minister to king, basically putting a total outsider on the throne. But, getting the throne is one thing. Actually keeping it is a whole other ballgame. And Hussain Shah, he immediately got to work, pulling his new kingdom together. And his methods? Well, let's just say they were effective. If you want to understand this man's resolve, you just need to hear one number: 12,000. After he became king, his own soldiers started looting the capital. He gave them one order: stop. They didn't listen. So he had 12,000 of them executed. It was brutal, absolutely shocking, but it sent a crystal clear message. There's a new sheriff in town, and order is back. And this number, this tells you about the scale of the chaos, but also about the incredible wealth of his capital. After that crackdown, his men found 13,000 gold plates that had been looted. So this wasn't just about discipline, it was about taking back control of his kingdom's immense fortune. His next move was pure political genius. He saw that the foreign mercenary guards had way too much power. So you know what he did? He got rid of them. Just disbanded them. And in their place, he promoted local Bengalis, building a new elite based on loyalty, not on where you came from. He appointed both Hindus and Muslims to top jobs, including his chief minister, a Hindu named Purander Khan. So, with the capital secure, he turned his eyes to the borders. His entire reign was pretty much defined by military campaigns. To the west, he was smart. He signed a peace treaty with the Sultan of Delhi. To the northeast, he had his biggest win, conquering Kamatapur Kamaru. Other battles were a mixed bag, for sure. But here's the brilliant part. By always fighting outside of Bengal's borders, he gave his own people decades of peace at home. And you know what that kind of peace does? It allows for something really special to happen. While the armies were busy at the frontiers, back home, the heart of the kingdom just exploded with culture, faith, and this new sense of a Bengali identity. This was the true Golden Age. Now, this might sound completely wild for the 15th century, but it gets right to what made his rule so amazing. I mean, how does a Muslim sultan get so much respect from his Hindu subjects that they start seeing him as, well, as a divine figure? And hey, this isn't some made-up legend. It's written right there in a Hindu epic from the time. For a poet to actually compare the sitting Muslim king to an incarnation of the god Krishna, that's just astonishing. It tells you everything you need to know about the kind of loyalty he inspired. And boy, did he earn that reverence. His court sponsored the first great flowering of literature in the Bengali language. It was this time of incredible spiritual energy, led by the great saint Shri Chaitanya. He kept putting Hindus in some of the most powerful jobs in the government, and, on a very practical note, he's the one credited with standardizing the Bengali calendar, the Bangabda, which people still use today. But, as we all know, golden ages don't last forever. After Hussain Shah died in 1519, his son took over, but a storm was gathering on the horizon, one that would eventually sweep away the very dynasty he had built. Now, his son, Nusrat Shah, was a pretty good ruler himself, but he was up against a whole new force, the Mughals, who came crashing into India in 1526. Nusrat managed to hold them off for a while, but after he was assassinated, things started to fall apart. The last ruler was just no match for the brilliant general Sher Shah Suri, who conquered Bengal in 1538, and just like that, the Hussain Shahi dynasty was over.
So the dynasty's gone. End of story, right? Not even close. Because what Hussain Shah and his family built was something much more powerful than a kingdom. They forged an identity.
And that's the real takeaway here. The Hussain Shahi era is when the idea of Bengal really came into its own. It stopped being just another province and became a place with its own unique culture, a shared identity, and crucially, a common language, Bengali, that was finally being celebrated by the people in charge.
And that leaves us with one last thought. The story of Alauddin Hussain Shah, this cowboy, this commoner who became a king, is just a powerful reminder of how one person's vision can literally shape the soul of a nation. It really makes you wonder, how much of who we are today was forged in a golden age we might not even remember?